Donald Trump is preparing to destroy the entire US economy. And this sounds like a very huge exaggeration, but this is literally what he hinted at his last press conference when he found out that the Supreme Court has overruled his tariffs. He no longer will be able to impose the same tariffs that he did over the last 12 months. He gave a press conference and he also said the exact same thing in a Truth Social post. To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1 to any country under the International Emergency Economic Power Act. So, according to the court, it is the Congress that can charge taxes. So, the President of the United States does not have the authority to introduce new taxes unless the Congress is going to allow him to do so. But here is the important thing that he pointed out. But I'm allowed to cut off any and all trade or business with that same country, even imposing a foreign country destroying embargo, and do anything else I want to do with them. So I cannot impose tariffs, but I can eliminate trade with any country that I want. So as the President of the United States, I can simply declare that no more trade with China, no more trade with Japan, no more trade with the European Union. And because the United States is the country that literally relies on global trade, like the United States imports more than $3 trillion worth of goods. People rely on imported goods on their day-to-day lives. Every single time that you hit Walmart, there are literally thousands of products out there that are being shipped from the rest of the world to the United States. Secondly, US businesses operate all across the globe. So imagine if Trump is going to ban business with a specific country. Now, US businesses will no longer be able to do business in that country. And even though that the United States actually runs a trade deficit when it comes to goods with many countries, the United States actually runs a trade surplus when it comes to services. So the United States sells far more services in the European Union than they sell in the United States. And you might say that, well, this is just what Trump said. It doesn't mean that he's actually going to do that. But now the court has given me the unquestioned right to ban all sorts of things from coming into our country, a much more powerful right than many people thought we had. So Trump is making it clear that now the court has given me the right to ban products. So if I no longer want smartphones to come to the United States, I can ban them. And that will be under the jurisdiction and the Constitution of the United States because the Supreme Court made it clear that I can ban them. Our country is the hottest anywhere in the world, but now I'm going to a different direction, which is even stronger than our original choice. So because the Supreme Court no longer allowed me to impose tariffs, I'm going to go into a completely different direction. And what direction is he talking about? Well, he just made it clear that the court allowed me to ban products and stop the United States from trading with the rest of the world. He goes on and says that the ability to block, embargo, restrict license, or impose any other condition on a foreign country's ability to conduct trade with the United States under the International Economic Emergency Power Act has been fully confirmed by this decision. In order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past under the various other tariff authorities, which also have been confirmed and fully allowed. And some people will say that, well, the United States is the most powerful economy in the world. It doesn't actually need the rest of the world. Well, let me tell you something. The United States holds the largest debt in human history, and about 10 trillion of that debt is held by other nations. And they do that because they have faith in the United States and because they do so much trade in the United States. And because the dollar is the global reserve currency and is used by many other nations to trade with one another, they are holding a lot of US treasuries, primarily because they are trading with the United States. So if you have a Japanese company or a Chinese company that is selling in the United States something and they're making a profit, What do you think they're doing with those profits? They're buying US treasuries because they need that cash one day. They might need it for a future investment. But you don't simply just go randomly around and spend every penny that you have in your pocket. You're going to save some of your money for a future year. Maybe you are going to expand your team. Maybe you're going to open a new plant, or maybe you are going to expand the business overall. But you can't simply just keep US dollars in a bank account because there is an inflation. Even if the Fed won't or the government won't be borrowing that much money, the Fed has a targeted inflation of 2%, which means that the value of your dollars are going to lose 2% of their value. So imagine a business that has saved $1 million. Now, 2% out of $1 million is $20,000. So even if that business is not going to do anything, it is going to lose $20,000, which is why so many businesses, or I would say pretty much like 99.9% of businesses, instead of keeping cash in their bank account, they're keeping a lot of US treasuries, which is why if you pull out the balance sheets of those businesses, you will see not just cash, but rather you will see cash and cash equivalent assets, because US treasuries are considered as equal to cash. The only difference is that the US treasuries will pay you a consistent interest that is higher than inflation. Now ask yourself a question. If Trump is going to move forward with this decision to start banning countries and banning entire products from coming into the United States, how is that going to impact the US business? How is that going to impact the dollar as the global reserve currency? How much faith countries will have in holding US dollars? How much more they would want to trade with the United States? Now, some will say that, well, the United States has been banning a lot of products anyways. So, for example, fentanyl is banned in the United States, but there is a black market for it. Somehow, a lot of fentanyl is still smuggled into the United States. But if Donald Trump is going to use this as a trade negotiation, for example, pointing to China that I'm going to ban all smartphones coming from China to the United States, how US companies such as Apple and Samsung and so many other US companies that have plants in China would actually do business? It is literally catastrophic, to say the least, for the entire US economy. He then goes in and says that I was very modest in my ask of other countries and businesses because I wanted to do nothing that could sway the decision that has been rendered by the court. So the fact that I have imposed a 150% tariff on China has been very modest. The fact that I have imposed a 40% tariff on the European Union has been very modest. You know what is not going to be modest? Is me literally just banning those goods that are coming from these countries. Now, I'm not sure if Trump actually going to move forward with this decision and literally put embargoes, but if he's going to do that, that is literally way worse than tariffs could possibly damage the US economy. Trump's entire argument around tariffs is that other nations are ripping off the United States because there is a huge trade deficit. Now, let me tell you something. There isn't actually a big problem with the trade deficit because the United States is simply paying these nations by printing money out of nothing. The real deficit that you should be concerned with isn't the trade deficit, but rather the government deficit. Now, the government this year is supposed to spend about $1.9 trillion more than it's going to earn, and that is called a deficit. Now, with the Supreme Court's decision, I feel, or I'm almost confident, that this deficit will rise to more than $2 trillion. Why nobody is addressing this problem when this problem is a much larger problem than the trade deficit? And that trade deficit is not even accurate to begin with because that's just goods. Let me ask you a question. Just look at your life. How much money do you spend buying goods and how much money do you spend buying services? Now, I can be confident that you probably spend more than 50 or probably even 70% of your entire income buying services. Well, the United States actually has a service surplus with many other nations. So the United States is actually winning. This global trade is benefiting the United States more than it benefits any other nation. And the easiest way to know that is by looking at which currency is the global reserve currency. Now, in this economy, if you want to win, you have to be an investor. Because of so many chaotic things happening, who knows how long the dollar will continue being the global reserve currency. And when it stops being the global reserve currency, the US stock market is no longer going to grow as fast as it has been growing over the last 70 to 80 years. Because the fact that the US dollar is the global reserve currency, it attracts capital from all across the globe. So people in the European Union, people in Japan, people in the UK, all of them are investing in the United States because everybody is holding the dollars, and everybody will invest in the United States because they're holding so much dollars and they know that this is the most reliable currency they can possibly have. But the moment the dollar will stop being the global reserve currency, the markets in the US will no longer be growing as fast. That's why if you have not started investing yet and you want a step-by-step guide, then check out the Investing Academy. The link is going to be in the description of this video.